the day that Allah liberated humanity by revelation of the Quran. You will celebrate the day that the Renaissance have started of knowledge, that we have led the world and all the sciences because of the first command was revealed in our Quran, Iqra. We celebrate a book that transformed humanity through the ages, transform Arabian society where they fight every week, not every month. There has a war among them. And then the Quran united them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brought them together. وَأَنفَقْتَ مَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. If you spend all of that on earth, مَا أَلَّفْتَ بَيْنَ قُلُوبِهِمْ. You will not have brought their heart together. وَلَكِنَّ اللَّهَ أَلَّفْ. Allah brought their heart together. Transformation of habits. Imagine people used to drink like alcohol 3-4 times a day. They were drinking people. And over a sudden, they stopped drinking overnight. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah prepared them in Mecca for 13 years. But when He sent the command, they stopped immediately. In the United States, we tried to prohibit alcohol. Do you know that or not? Prohibition. And we failed miserably. Because it was external law. There was no conviction. Matter of fact, there's a professor of psychology named Malik Badri, rahimahullah. He passed away recently, at the age of 90-something. He writes a lot of books in Islamic psychology. He has a book of the Islamic perspective of prohibition of alcohol and how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have made the Sahaba radiallahu alayhim to stop drinking. But when you think about Ramadan, you think about celebrating the Quran. And we're going to talk about how we celebrate the Quran in Ramadan. Number 2, Ramadan is the month of achieving, increasing God consciousness. Be God conscious. Taqwa, which is the word in Arabic is taqwa. Taqwa is a word not just being used in preaching. You use the word taqullah, taqwa. Taqwa is essential, is the center of this spiritual journey. A matter of fact, is one of the most repeated words in the Quran. Dr. Irfan, rahimahullah, have written a book in Surah Al-Baqarah, translation, we have seen it in America, looking for the word taqwa in Surah Al-Baqarah. Where Allah mentioned it. For when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala set an objective, He made an objective of fasting. As I said before, in everything we do, there's something called maqsad. Maqsad, the objective of an act of worship. As a matter of fact, there's Al-Izz ibn Abd al-Salam, rahimahullah, wrote a book called Maqasid al-Kitab al-Aziz. Talk about the Quran, the objectives of the Quran. Allah has said objectives. And one of the objective rituals is to achieve taqwa, piety, righteousness. In every rituals, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told us what the outcome should be. If a person did not achieve the outcome, have not reached the outcome, there's something wrong in the process. Why have not reached the outcome? For example, Allah said, "Aqim as-salata li dhikri." Establish prayer for my remembrance. Because if we remember Allah, then Allah said, "Inna salata tanha 'anil fahsha'i wal munkar." Prayer will prohibit a person from doing major sins, because it makes them always remember of Allah. Remind them of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talk about zakah. What did He say about zakah? خذ من أموالهم صدقة تزكيهم وتطهرهم بها. Take from their money a portion, so you purify them with them. And we talked about the difference between tazkiyah and tathir last time, didn't I? Yeah, I'm not going to talk. If I go there, I'm not going to talk about fasting. There's no two words in Quran as synonyms that mean the same. Zero. ليس هناك ترادف في القرآن. Every word is unique. Allah mentioned that word. There's sometimes they overlap, but each one of them has unique meaning. The word Iman and Islam, for example. A person is a mu'min, is a Muslim, but sometimes is a Muslim is not a mu'min. قالت الأعراب آمنا قل لم تؤمنوا ولكن قولوا أسلمنا. That Badwan said, we have Iman, faith. Allah said, you don't have Iman, you have Islam. When you have Iman, then claim the Iman. But sometimes a Muslim is a mu'min. وَخَرَجْنَا مَنْ كَانَ فِيهَا مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ فَمَا وَجَدْنَا فِيهَا غَيْرَ بَيْتٍ مِنَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. That we saved a particular household of believers, and there was no house of believer, a household except household of Muslims. That means the household of Muslims, they were the household of believers. Anyway, then somebody asks you, why you fast? Ask me or you. Why do you fast as Muslims? Somebody, I fast to lose weight. Wrong answer. Because some people, they do fast and they gain weight. Seriously, because you know what? They eat a lot at night and they sleep a lot during the day. They get more weight. You know? I fast to feel how the poor people feel. That's true. That's one aspect of it. Upon you, as was prescribed on those before you, so you may obtain, achieve what? Taqwa, piety, righteousness. Therefore, you have in your house, you say, we fast in Ramadan to become muttaqi. That's a banner, especially in the dining table, the time of iftar, when everyone comes. Amazing thing about Ramadan, that it forces people to eat dinner together. Most of the time, sometimes people don't eat together. But because they break and fast, you eat together and force people to eat another meal called sahur together. That's two meals, which is a unique thing. There's a barakah of Ramadan, the blessing of Ramadan. Now, what is taqwa? Taqwa is a system by which a person checks their actions and their words and their behavior and to see if it is pleasing to Allah or not. Create an alert system, a conscious system that always asking ourselves, would Allah be pleased with this or not? This is what taqwa is. Some ulama define taqwa, أَلَّا يَرَاكَ حَيْثُ نَهَاكَ وَلَا يَفْقِدَكَ حَيْثُ أَمَرَكَ. That taqwa it is about to be in a place where Allah wants you to be, and not to be in the place where Allah would not have liked you to be. Allah will not be pleased with us not to be in that place. That's a criterion. So a person have to say, am I in the right place or wrong place? Is that pleasing to Allah or not pleasing to Allah? Now, there's another definition of taqwa of Imam Ali, كرم الله وجهه. Imam Ali, definition, قال التقوى هي الخوف من الجليل والعمل بالتنزيل والقناعة بالقليل والاستعداد ليوم الرحيل. 4 things. He said taqwa is to fear Allah, to be conscious of His presence, and application of revelation, and to be content with what Allah has given us, and to prepare oneself for the day that will live this dunya, this world. If you take this 4 and apply it in Ramadan, in fasting, how do Ramadan make us achieve those? Number 1, Fasting is the only act of worship is not seen. You can give reward for it. Even the malaika cannot write the reward for it. Allah, you have the reward for fasting. They have sabr. In fact, some ulama said the ayah, استعينوا بالصبر والصلاة. Seek help from sabr, perseverance and patience and prayer. It said the word sabr here means siyam, means fasting. One of the tafsir. Sabr here means fasting. Because fasting teaches people to have perseverance. What is sabr? Sabr definition in Arabic, as-sabr nafs. Is holding one back, holding your nafs, holding back. And when you hold back in Ramadan fasting, you abstain. Because the definition of fasting in Arabic, al-sawm lughatan huwa al-imsak. Linguistically is to abstain. Like in Maryam alayhi salam. Maryam fasted alayhi salam. But fasted from speaking. وما دليلنا البشر أحد فقل إني نذرت للرحمن صوما ولن نكلم اليوم إنسيا. She abstained from, fasted from speaking. But لغة, linguistically wise, means to abstain. And therefore, because it's a hidden act of worship, it creates in us. I remember when I was a child, I think the full Ramadan, I fasted full Ramadan, I was 10 years old. Before that, I fasted some days, but 10 years old fasting for Ramadan, I think. But you've been told, it's between you and Allah. Keep your fast. And then you become very conscious. Even when you make wudu, you rinse our mouth to make sure that there's no water can come to our throat. But no one sees that. Does anyone here convert to Islam? A convert? You fasted Ramadan before, brother?
This is my first time.
Oh, welcome, brother. Welcome. I'm going to give you a hug after this, if you allow. Okay. Yeah. People like my wife and others who revert to Islam, they say to me, the first Ramadan they fasted, Allah made it easy for them. You break a habit. If you have never fasted until you are 20-something years old, or sometimes people revert to Islam 40 years old, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave them the ability to switch. Allahu Akbar. Yani, Starbucks, I know some people boycott it, coffee, any coffee, it switch immediately. This come from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No human being intervention. Trust me. The irada, the will that Allah put on us to fast Ramadan is amazing. People fasted in the most difficult circumstances. I fasted in 110 degrees, with no air conditions, with no eyes myself. And the elderly people, was a young person, the elderly people, 70 years old fasting, 80 years old fasting. Entire month. How that happen? There's no nation, there's no human being in the face of the earth have this devotion to Allah more than Muslims. And I see this not with no arrogance. I say it with humility. There's no one like us. By the way, what I'm telling you now, I tell my friends, my Christian friends, my Jewish friends, I say to them, how long you fast? They say they fast 24 hours. Which is a difficult one day, 24 hours. But they will fast a month. Every day, 12 hours. In some places, they fast 19 hours. Some people fast for not eating chocolate. Some religion. Or not eating meat. But you fast from water and food. From dawn to sunset for a month, only Muslims. Check it out, Google it. Only Muslims do that. every year, continuously. Now, but this is الخوف من الجليل. You make a person become God conscious. طيب, what is القناعة بالقليل? To be content with what Allah has given us. Because fasting is a discipline. It's meant to discipline human being from controlling one word called shahwa. Anyone study psychology here? Anyone study psychology? You heard did you hear about Freud? Islam, the psychology of Muslim psychology, the shahwa can be controlled. 100%. How? If we abstain from this water, I cannot abstain from alcohol. If I don't drink water for hours, from dawn to sunset, I'm not able to say no to alcohol? How that happen? If I say no to water, can I be able to say no to drugs? If I cannot abstain from lawful relationship, I cannot be able to say no to relationship that's not legal, not acceptable. That's what it is. It's creating an ability of controlling desires, which means to strengthen the soul, as Imam Ghazali said in the book The Beloved Son. قال اجعل الحياة في الروح. Make your real life the strength in your soul and make your body submit. Don't make the opposite. Don't let the soul submit to the body. This shahwa, the issue of shahwa, it is an issue that many industry was built on shahwa. Billions of dollars being spent and people doing the haram things online. Billions of dollars being spent on drinking. Billions of dollars being spent in gambling. All shahawat. Desires. When a person fasts, is a person says, I'm in control. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave me the ability to think. You remember I said what the word aql means? You remember? I thought I said it here. Aql means to tie, to control. That's what it is, to hold back. It's not the intellectual exercise, because a person can be very smart technically, but not wise behavior-wise. Can be the best doctor, but horrible in relationship. You get my point? Therefore, you cannot have just technical knowledge. You have to have wisdom. And wisdom comes from the aql. Allah called the intellect aql because it holds you back. And He called it hijr because yahjirak, hold you back. He called it nuha because yanhak, prohibit you from doing things. You hold back. And therefore, this issue of shahwa, it is one of the most I can say difficult issue to control. But people, because they know that humans go after their desire, and when you get attacked by feeling. The other type of shahwa is the shahwa of halal, but people exceeding the limit. For example, shopping. There's people buy things they don't need. There's a 4-letter. S-A-L-E. That word? But that was spelled. Thank you, my sister. Sale. You start see sale, start selling immediately to it. Running to it. And not only that, they do i'tikaf in front of the Best Buy and on Friday, Black Friday. It is that desire a person buys things, cumulative things that they don't need, and they regret it because they use plastic money. And plastic money made things accessible. Some not affordable, but accessible. Listen, the difference between accessible and affordable. Accessible how? You can buy it now, you get the pen later. Unnecessary debts. You know, Umar anhu saw a man carrying the meat in his hand. There's no grocery bag. There's no plastic at the time to begin with. But he carrying the meat like this. He said, what is this? He knows it's the meat, but he wants to provoke thought. قال لحم اشتهيته فاشتريته. It's not prohibited to buy meat. He said, it's a meat that I desire and I bought. فقال عمر رضي الله عنه ويحك كلما اشتهيت اشتريت. Every time you desire something, you just buy it. Have you said no to yourself sometimes? My grandfather has something very interesting. Very simple man. But sometimes he desired things, buy them. After he buy them, he regretted. He said, why did I buy this? Then he give it away. He said, why did you buy it? He said, I want to break my desire. He give it away. He said, subhanallah. Now, therefore, the Ramadan is the month, since we control our desires of halal, of things that are good, then we have to be able to control our ability to exceed in the limits. Something called israf. And Allah la yuhibbul musrifin. Exceeding the limits in halal called israf, spending money in haram called tabdhir. إن المبذرين كانوا إخوان الشياطين. Those who waste money, wasting money, that they are the brothers of shaitan. Allah la yuhibbul musrifin. Allah does not love those who exceed the limit. That's why one of the things you do, when you buy new clothes, what do you do? Huh? You wear them, but let me tell you something, my sister. Every time you buy new clothes, you have to donate the old one. Every time you buy new clothes, buy the clothes, not the one that fall apart and have to donate the other, donate something. So that closet, when you open it, doesn't fall in our face. Like, you're looking for a shirt like in an ocean of the clothing. Why? And not only that, we have so many shoes you don't know what to put them. Very important to control our desire. One of the problems in Ramadan, the grocery bill goes up. It's good that you invite people. Be generous, inviting people to our home. Was one of the most beautiful things in Ramadan. Inviting neighbors, but not throwing food into the trash. What do? You put the food in boxes, put them in the refrigerator, and then the refrigerator will come full. Then the food of the last week, what happened to it? Spoiled. Put in the trash. You have to be careful on that. One of the things that I advise myself and you, brothers and sisters, as much as you can, sometimes we happen that we need something, but don't do the main grocery shopping before iftar. Wrong idea. That's when the shower comes in. One of the discipline you can do, you can write what you want at night when you are full. And next day says, I'm going to do shopping during the day, but I'm going to stick to this list. Otherwise, you start buying things we don't need. And subhanAllah, I cannot talk about this without talking about brothers and sisters in Gaza. I don't know how the Gazans will be fasting Ramadan. What kind of Ramadan they would have. You know, sometimes you think about comfort. You fast Ramadan, you know we're going to break fast. You buy all kind of juices, all kind of cheeses, all kind of cereals. You just get in your car and buy things. And you see your brother and sister living in a tent. You know, I don't know what kind of Ramadan they're going to have. If we make a decision in our grocery to say, this much money is going to go to Gaza, we have to find a way to get to them. But let us think about them. Think of our brothers and sisters, and that we break our fast in Ramadan. Of those people who are being deprived from basic needs. It has to be part of our conscience this year. Al-qana'a bil-qalil. Have you seen children in Gaza carrying a gallon of water as if they have found gold? As if they found gold. This is really how they're surviving. For us, not to waste, at least. Not to take it for granted. Al-qana'a bil-qalil. You know? There's a scene in Gaza where a child came to get the food and found everybody took the food and almost ran out of food. And the children gathered together and they gave, each one of them gave some of the food to that child. So that the child can become happy. Take the food to the son. Al-qana'a bil-qalil. Be content. We have a problem that we think about what we don't have. We want a bigger house, we want a more expensive car, we want all of these things. And we don't see the people who are barely making it. Barely making it. We have to be content in this life. There's some Sahaba, a man and woman, companions of Rasulullah, they have one garment in their home. The man wear it, go to the masjid, wear it, come back around, give it to his wife, she can play on it. One day Rasulullah stopped him and was running. He said, Ya Rasulullah, we have one garment. He asked, the woman asked him, why are you late today? He said, Rasulullah stopped me. He said, don't tell me who told him that we have only one garment. We're happy. He said, I told him. He said, وَيْحَكَ تَشْكُ اللَّهَ لِرَسُولِ اللَّهِ. He said, oh to you, are you complaining about Allah to His Prophet? Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They're happy with one God. قَنَعَ بِالْقَلِيلِ. That's the purpose of fasting. I need to stop her. Now, Amir, is supposed to stop now? I did exceed the limit?
I'm sorry, Sheikh. You can take question and answers, or?
I need to stop not to finish the...
Normally, we go 45 minutes and you take questions.
Okay. I will stop my talk. There's other two things. العمل بالتنزيل, which is reading the Quran, has to be a habit. Yeah, الخوف من الجليل والعمل بالتنزيل. I skipped that because I was planning to talk about it in the end. But we should have a habit and a relationship with the Quran in Ramadan. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to review the Quran with Jibreel alayhi salam every Ramadan. The entire Quran. A year where he passed away, Jibreel alayhi salam came to Rasul sallam twice in Ramadan. And Rasul sallam took that as an indicator that his mission come to an end. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The last thing is الاستعداد ليوم الرحيل. Oh, alhamdulillah. I was rushing it. Okay. Then I have to rush those two things then. Let's talk about the Quran. Quran, I have some tips to myself and to you. You can read one ahead of the Imam, the English translation, if you're not Arabic speaking. Even if you're Arabic speaking, read the tafsir. It will open new door for you. I remember one of the scholars, he met someone Hafiz al-Quran. And the person Hafiz al-Quran is Arabic speaking, but the scholar is scholar of tafsir. So he asked the Sheikh, Do you know what yaqteen is? Yaqteen. The Sheikh said, I don't know what it is. The word in the Quran for banana is طلح منضود. طلح منضود. Therefore, if a person say to themselves, there's certain vocabulary, even Arabic speaking, there's certain vocabulary in this surah or these chapters, I don't know, or this juzu, I would like to really read the tafsir on it. When you stand in Taraweeh, subhanallah, it feels better. It feels different. You feel that you understood what's being recited. But if you are not native Arabic, read the English translation. You don't have to read the entire juzu, but choose some of it, at least. You know, when the Imam recited that portion, that you understood what it's all about. Number 2, make a Quran diary. Quran diary. Have a notebook and say you're going to write reflections. After you read the tafsir, so you don't go off, out of the line of the reflections, read the tafsir. There's a tafsir in Kathir now is in English. There's the commentaries of Yusuf Ali, Muhammad Asad, and others, tafasir, clear Quran. Read all of those. And Usmani, rahimahullah, that you can have that tafsir and read. And then take notes. Study Quran, whatever, take notes. After Ramadan finishes, say, subhanallah, I have 30 reflections in Quran. You go back to them and think about it. And maybe that will become your habit to do a reflection once a week, if you're not every day. The other things begins with a surah that you memorize and you love to recite. Begins with the tafsir of those, reading those in Ramadan and understanding them. If you memorize Surah Yasin, start with Surah Yasin. If you memorize Surah Al-Rahman, Surah Al-Ikhlas, a surah that recognize, start with those. You can find wonder in Surah Al-Ikhlas. I did the tafsir 1 hour at ADAMS Center. You can see it in the website on Surah Al-Ikhlas. This is 1 hour in Surah Al-Falaq, 1 hour in Surah Al-Nas. They're very heavy surahs. Some people say like they have this something called children Quran. Quran for children. All this is the Quran for adults and children. The surahs for the adults and children. You need to start reflecting on it. And Imam al-Ghazali, rahimahullah, has something called inner dimension of recitation of the Quran in PDF. 10 points. Download those. Read those. Al-Amal bil-Tanzil. One of the things that we can use in Surah Al-Baqarah, because the first juzu is Surah Al-Baqarah, am I correct? The second juzu is which surah? Surah Al-Baqarah. And the half juzu is Surah Al-Baqarah. Get all the ayat said, Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu. All the ayat said, all those who believe. Because after that there's a command. And say what Allah asked of me. And after also Surah Al-Baqarah, there's Ya ayyuha alladhina amanu, and there's Ya ayyuha nas. You know that? يا أيها الناس اعبدوا ربكم الذي خلقكم والذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. It's ayah in Surah Al-Baqarah. O humankind, worship the Lord, the one who created you and those before you. You might have taqwa. For all the ayat of Nida, you can start researching those and see what Allah asks of us. That's why Imam Ali, Karamallahu, says, application of the Quran. Some ulama says, نزل القرآن ليعمل به فاتخذ الناس قراءته عملا. Quran was revealed to act upon it, but people took only the recitations as the action that needed more than that. Now, this is about the Quran, العمل بالتنزيل. طيب الاستعداد ليوم الرحيل, preparing oneself before we leave this world. There's 2 types of abstaining, fasting, voluntary fasting and what? No. Voluntary fasting, you fast by your will. You want to fast, and then fasting what? Huh? No, not the fiqh. Involuntary fasting. Allah going to impose a fast on us. You know what that is? Death. And this is the demolisher of all pleasures. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said we didn't get them, we didn't allow them to what they desire. Nah, it's over. The person has to prepare themselves for the day that the shahwa no longer can be applied. A person cannot be able to fulfill their needs, their desires. Or you yourself here for that day. You know what happened? There's no fasting in Jannah. There's fasting in Jannah. Jannah can eat anytime you want to eat. Anytime you desire things. If you don't want to eat, you fast your own, fine. But there's no obligation of fasting. No longer. A person must train themselves before that day arrives. استعداد اليوم الرحيل. Therefore, Ramadan teach us to prepare oneself for that day. طيب. Since I have more time, let me explain that the three types of fasting. Imam الغزالي رحمه الله يقول الغزالي الصيام fasting at 3 levels. صيام العامة, the fasting of average person, from food and drink, spousal relationship, from dawn to sunset. وصيام الخاصة, the special categories of people fasting. That had a صيام العينين, that the ears fast, the eyes fast, the tongue fast, the hand fast from doing something haram. The fast of the limbs, جوارح. وصيام خاصة الخاصة, the cream of the crop. وصيام القلب من كل شيء إلا الله, when the heart fasts from anything other than Allah. Right. What is the practical aspect of this? Allah prohibits for us to do riba, to say it or to hear it, in all times. Rasulullah said if a person lying and a person does haram, Allah does not need them to eat or to drink. That doesn't mean the person said, okay, I'm backbiting, therefore I'm going to break my fast. No. You have to fast and not to backbite and not to slander and not to look to the haram when fasting. Because that will make a person really control of themselves. Because some people, have you heard of social fasting? Social fasting. You fast because you fast, just like an exercise. No. Fasting has to have a spiritual objective. The one that I mentioned earlier. Now, the fasting of the heart from other than Allah, is impossible to happen the whole time. It's called moment of fasting. You're night of 27, you're this intense dua of Taraweeh and you're crying, your heart fast from anything other than Allah. You think about Allah, you think about the power of Allah. Or you get into the haram, you go to Medina, and you go to sit in the Rawdah, and you feel like, subhanallah, you feel the presence of Allah in your life. Or you between the Hajar al-Aswad and the door of the Kaaba, you throw yourself at the Multazam, and you feel that moment. Those called fasting moment. The heart has fasted. You don't get distracted. The noise is gone. Only between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's why Rasulullah said 7 categories of people in the shade of Allah. A person remember Allah alone, and then their eyes become full of tears. That is a siyam. That a fasting, that moment. That's why they say you need to prolong as much as you can those moments. But we are human beings. We're going to mix those life and so forth. then we need to remind ourselves back. That's why there's a dhikra, there's a reminder on salah in the Quran, reminder of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because ghafla going to happen. Heedless. Sometimes a person going to forget. There's different level of heedless. There's extreme heedless when a person commits major sins and so forth, and there's heedless, a person might commit minor sins or not remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala much. That is, a person can overcome that by remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then they'll be able to see it. You know? وَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْصِرُونَ. You know? مَسَّهُمْ طَائِفٌ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ تَذَكَّرُوا وَإِذَا هُمْ مُبْصِرُونَ. الَّذِينَ إِذَا مَسَّهُمْ طَائِفٌ. You know, the believers, if shaitan come and whisper to them, تَقَوْا الَّذِينَ اتَّقَوْا. Those who have God conscious, when they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, their mind come back. The light goes on back into their mind and their hearts. The last things I want to say, I said 7 things, but I didn't get time to do those 7 things. In Ramadan, we need to restore relationship with our kinship. If we are not talking for family for a long time, you want to receive Laylat al-Qadr, pick up that phone, make that call. Something very difficult. But if we do so, we have the upper hand. We have the upper hand. And the last things I want to say, sadaqah, giving in Ramadan. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was more generous in Ramadan than any other time. He was always generous, but in Ramadan, like a wind. You know, rih al-mursala. Give quickly. But let us do that. And the 5th, choose a project in Ramadan, a family project. Because Islam telling us Ramadan is a month of motivation. Even young people. Who's going to school here? Public school, raise your hand. Who's going to school? Anyone going to school here? Young people? Okay. I'm going to give you some suggestions. In this Ramadan, you say, there are certain things I'm going to do in the month of Ramadan, accomplish them, called Ramadan project. Even if, like, I'm going to clean my room every day. You know? Something like that. To say, it's a Ramadan project. And I'm going to put stars. You're going to have, in a wall, have 30 stars. Every day you do that project, you put it in the star, in the day. By the end of Ramadan, see how many stars you accomplished. You are going to feel so good about that Eid. Trust me. When you look to the 30 stars, they say, subhanallah, I clean my room every day. I do my homework on time every day. Something. Change your habit. You're going to feel good about it. I'm going to help mom and dad. If I do something like this, oh, trust me. I was in your age. My father gave me this idea. I used to my age, like I said, taking my board, I look at it in Ramadan. I'm very happy to become sense of accomplishment. Therefore, also the family can do something together. They say, we're going to paint the house. Ramadan they have Muslims accomplish big things in Ramadan. Badr in Ramadan, opening of Makkah in Ramadan. They make a project together to say this is a Ramadan project. It creates a spirit like never before. The last things, I said I'm going to say last things. Almost filling my 7th thing. You know, one of the habit the person should stop in Ramadan is making dua at the time of sahur. This is the best time to make dua before Fajr. For as we break our fast, we make dua, but the time before sahur, or the time of sahur, before Fajr, time of sahur, you make istighfar 10 times. Astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayhi, astaghfirullah al-azim wa atubu ilayhi, astaghfirullah. Allah will have us written among al-mustaghfirina fil ashar, those who seek forgiveness of Allah in time of sahur. كانوا كانوا قليلا من الليل ما يهجعون وبالأسحار هم يستغفرون. They make istighfar in time of sahar. And take this habit after Ramadan, inshallah, 5 minutes, 10 minutes before Fajr, do istighfar. Not only that, can I tell you a shortcut? Get up in the morning, if you get any time at night, for any reason, and you make istighfar before you go back to bed, Allah have you written among the mustaghfireen, seeking Allah forgiveness. Ask, say, oh Allah, forgive me. Oh Allah, accept my forgiveness and my repentance. If we say this in Arabic or in English, that will be written, inshallah, among mustaghfireen. Those are the actually 7 things. Yeah. Any questions? Yes.
I have 2 questions. The first question is, you said there's no fasting in paradise, but is there prayer, is there salah in paradise? And second is, we know that these are like high stations that we should aspire for, right? Like the station of like the prayer or the fast
of the elect. And let's say that, you recognize that you're not always in those states, you shortcome, so you feel a sense of shame. How do you use that shame as a motivation to come near Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instead of being shut down by it as it normally does to you? Jazakallah khairan.
Very important questions. First of all, in Jannah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make an announcement. You say to Ahl al-Jannah, O people of Jannah, what do you need? They say, oh Allah, there is no need. Everything we need is here. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I will give you more. I said, oh Allah, how could be more than what we have? He will say, أُحِلُّ عَلَيْكُمْ رِضْوَانِي فَلَا أَسْخَطُ عَلَيْكُمْ أَبَدًا. I will bestow upon you my rida, be pleased with you. I'll be pleased with you, never be displeased with you. For in Jannah, all the imams go out of business. Shuyukh. There's no fatwa line, sheikh, what is this and that. Everyone becomes the sheikh of themselves. Because there's nothing haram in Jannah. And Allah, everything you do in Jannah is Allah be pleased with you. In Jannah is a dhikr. Dhikr. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about people enter in Jannah. وترى الملائكة حافين من حول العرش يسبحون بحمد ربهم وقضي بينهم بالحق وقيل الحمد لله رب العالمين. People praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah. Therefore that is a form of dhikr, ibadah. The sharia that, as we know, the obligatory things in dunya no longer become, because the objective of those rituals is to remember Allah. And you will never forget about Allah in Jannah. There's no way. Forget about Allah in Jannah. And the questions for talking about this, the fasting of the elite, of the heart, that we're talking about. There's a practical aspect of spirituality. Shaitan, when become difficult, we don't like to create any kind of a picture to say you have to be in that state of purity. Like one of the Sahaba went on the street. He said, Nafiq Handala, Nafiq Handala, Handala become munafiq, Handala become munafiq. Abu Bakr, word munafiq for those who don't know Arabic, become hypocrite. Say, I'm become hypocrite, I'm a hypocrite, I'm a hypocrite. So Abu Bakr met him and said, why you saying you're a hypocrite? You're a believer. He said, listen, I want to sit with Allah, you talk about Jannah, paradise and hellfire as if I can see them. I'm so connected. I go back, I go to my business, go to my store, go to corporate America. I forget about those. I'm not in the same spiritual high, if I can use that word. But spiritual state. That I'm not sure why I'm like this. Abu Bakr said, I feel the same thing. If you're feeling that, I'm in trouble too. Let's go to Rasulullah. So he went to Rasulullah, and the Rasulullah said, if you stay the way you were with me, all the time, the angel will shake your hand, you become like angels. You're a human being. Sa'a fa sa'a. The belief of the Muslim scholars about Iman, of faith, that faith goes ups and down. But when it goes down, it should not go to E. You know what that means? You drive your car, the tank. Don't run out of gas. You know, the light sometimes goes on. Don't let it go that. The light goes on. But if a person runs out of gas, that they run out of Iman is a problem. But Iman decrease and increase. How to maintain a level? There's a base of Iman. The base of Iman to pray 5 times a day. The base of Iman to stay out of major sins. Not the Iman, the Aqidah. The Iman, the state. The creed that to believe in Allah and the Rasulullah and the Malaika, the angels and so forth. That convictions that make a person always mu'min, but the level of increase and decrease, it based on action and interactions. For example, Rasulullah said, Al-mu'min man aminahu nas. The true believer is a person that people feel secure in their presence of their physical safety and their properties. Doesn't mean if somebody were to do something that they come out of Islam, but they are not mu'min at the time. Their iman is not strong. لا يزني الزاني حين يزني وهو مؤمن ولا يسرق السارق حين يسرق وهو مؤمن. Person commit theft, commit zina at that moment, they don't have the iman. But they're still Muslims. The good news, my dear brother, is Islam is so beautiful. When you fall down, you have a chance to get up. Don't let shaitan keep you down. This religion like a football game. I'm sorry, those are American football game, not soccer. It's 100 yards. And there's a team playing against you. They will make sure that you don't have touchdown, which is Jannah. Your coach is the Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, because one everyone wants to go to Jannah. The rules of these games to stay within Sharia. When a person fall down, you have to be in the Jama'ah. Be in the right team until you make it to the last yard. My dear brother, Islam is so beautiful that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, if you walk toward me this much, I walk toward you this much. If you walk toward me this much, I walk toward you this much. If you walk toward me, I run toward you. Allah close the gap. لا يموتن أحدكم إلا ويحفظ الظن بالله. No one should die except seeing the best of Allah. You know, one of the tabi'een said, oh Allah, you said in the Quran, رحمتي وسعت كل شيء. My rahmah encompasses everything. Your mercy encompasses everything. I'm a thing. Encompass me in your mercy. What it is a struggle that we go through every day. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, His door is wide open. You know, the struggle itself, you get rewarded for it. You get rewarded for the struggle. If you desire to have this moment of fasting, your half fast, you can do it tonight in Tahajjud. Just a moment of intense remembrance of Allah. But next day you're going to have to go to business. You have to go to work. That's an act of worship. What you get at night is the fuel to help you sustain yourself during the day. Alhamdulillah. I should not give too long answer.
Sheikh, it looked like majority of us have been praying for all our brothers and sisters across the world, especially people from Palestine. But when we see things, we feel very painful. But it looked like most of the efforts majority of us have been putting, we are not seeing the result. Is there any comfort whether we can say to brothers and sisters who have been praying hard and then trying to help others. Jazakumullah khair.
He's saying that you see suffering of the world, and sometimes you don't see things happening quickly, huh? You know, Rasulullah 13 years in Mecca, the majority of his prophethood was very difficult. And in Medina, every month he was attacked. Every month. Never rested. You know what? I have no doubt truth will prevail. Justice was served. There's no human being who get away with injustice. The Akhi people slaughtered Yahya alayhi salam, killed Yahya alayhi salam, the Prophet of Allah. In Surah Al-Ukhdud, people burn people alive. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I will hold them accountable. There's a day of ultimate justice. No one will get away with it. As I said before this gathering, Allah says in the Quran, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ هذا الرواية وإذا الموءودة سألت بأي ذنب قتلت. The little girl will stand there and said, what crime did I commit? That those people have taken my life. Those children of Gaza. Allah will give them a microphone. Allah will give them a time in the court, in his court. Life is short, my brother. What happened to Fir'aun? What happened to the people, wrong people? We have brought slaves to this country from Africa, who snapped them from the land, who brought them like sardine. And when they get sick, we throw them in the ocean. What happened to those people? Who kept the record? Almighty. Almighty. Subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا تحسبن الله غافل. Allah said, do not assume Allah have not seen it. Yeah, when Musa alayhi salam went to speak to Fir'aun, he said, oh Allah, I'm worried about Fir'aun wronging me. He might do something to me. قال لا تخافا إني معكما أسمع وأرى. He said, don't get scared. I'm listening, I'm hearing. Yeah. Rasulullah, when he was thrown at Taif, throwing things at him, when he made dua, Allah took him to the ascension, to Isra al-Mi'raj, telling him, if people of earth rejected you, people of heaven have celebrated you. The rejection of earth, the rejection of people of earth, on earth, the injustice, it doesn't mean that Allah have abandoned us. Astaghfirullah al-Azim. وَلَتَعْلَمْنَا نَبَوْا بَعْدَ حِينٍ.
Inshallah. So 2 more questions at this point. Any questions?
The sister want to ask questions? The sister side. Yeah. The 2 sisters ask.
What's the best way to take advantage of Ramadan while you're balancing school and work and stuff?
That is also another good question. She asked, how do you take the best advantage of Ramadan, balancing schools, and 3 things. Number 1, if you drive to work, play Quran, or you do dhikr. Therefore, the driving time, you use it in dhikr, Quran. Number 2, that a person who have worked early in the morning and the Tarawih is too long for them, and then they have to wake up for Sahur, I would suggest them to pray only 4 rak'ahs, not the 20, because work is an obligation and Tarawih is a voluntary sunnah. Therefore, concentrate on the fard and the wajib. Exceeding in school is an act of worship. And when you fast, you should be like filtering the noise and concentrating more. And therefore, I would suggest the people who are studying, maybe at night you can do more of the schooling, and after you pray the 2 rak'ahs of sahar, do that work, your mind is clear before Fajr. The other things is that the company at work or in school. In general, you have to always have good company, but especially in Ramadan. If you have Muslims in your school, Muslims in your work, hang around them, especially at lunchtime. And make a time for reading Quran, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, in lunch hour. That's how you use it. That okay? Sister.
My question is more about those people, and I'm surrounded by them these days apparently, who actually can't fast, have been told by their physicians they can't. Their grief is something that is overwhelming. And of course, Gaza has taught us and transformed us by Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakeel. Of course, those words have transformed the world no matter what. And we can say those words, but they want to be involved. I know someone who has a severe fatigue disorder. She cannot stay awake at night. There's absolutely no way for her to be awake past Isha. If she wants to function the next day. And so to give solace to those people that just simply existing in Ramadan to increase dhikr, it feels like it's something so small. I don't have work, and I am a mom of special needs kids. And so a lot of people think I have wisdom beyond my means. I don't. I simply had to act on what was in front of me, right? So I don't know what to say to them. I don't know how to help them.
My sister is a very important aspect. I'm so glad you brought it up because I would not have been a complete talk without touching on this. It's very important. Anyone have chronic conditions or conditions that do not allow them to fast. I want to make you to understand this, which really unshakable belief that Allah, the most merciful, have written for you as if you have fasted. Let me tell you good news. The good news that Rasulullah told us, if a person wants to do good deeds and couldn't do it because of circumstances, and their intention was to do it, it will be written for them as they have done it. Not only that, ulama said, if a person fasts every Monday and Thursday, and one Monday was sick, was written them fasted Monday because that's their habit. And no one, Allah give them a test of life, physical test, and decrease them in reward. Subhanallah. Not only that, that person have the physical difficulties, who have longing to fast, they want to pray tahajjud at night, but to have the fatigue issues, you may have more reward than the person have prayed. Because of the test that they have and they become patient with it. إِنَّمَا وَفَّى الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرًا بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Those who have patient perseverance, they will get a reward, abundance reward, even the malaika cannot count. Therefore, I want to tell the brothers and sisters who listen to us, if you have medical conditions, you're not missing anything. Because the one who gave you the test of sickness is the one that will reward you for the suffering and the struggle that you have, and you will be rewarded tremendously for the condition you have. Therefore, I don't want anyone to feel left out at all. But what can you compensate? A person cannot pray at night, during the day can do some dhikr. If a person cannot fast, then they can give sadaqah. They can feed a person in need. That's what Islam says. If they cannot afford it, even to pay the sadaqah, Allah will not hold them accountable. We are dealing with the most merciful, Ar-Rahman, the most forgiving, Al-Ghafur, At-Tawwab, the one who accepts repentance. Therefore, You know, subhanallah, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he reminded the Sahaba radiallahu alayhim that Allah has more mercy upon you than the mother on her child. He will not, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will not test someone with sickness and then help them accountable or give them less reward. No. So glad to answer that question.
There's one more question.
Brother Majid, thank you for coming. We all know the suffering that people in Gaza are impacted with. So what is the Islamic ruling on celebrations like Eid and stuff? Should we snub them down or should we celebrate normally? Or my daughter actually asked this question and that's why I'm asking you.
Yeah. In Islam, you celebrate Eid because you fasted. You complete. You see, in Islam, the holidays does not come with no reason. They come because a person have completed an act of worship. But I would like to say that as you celebrate Eid, that maybe we have a campaign of donation to Gaza on the day of Eid. We want to have solidarity with our brothers and sisters of suffering. You know? But you don't tell children don't celebrate Eid. You know? I have not seen people of so much resilience than those Muslims who are suffering, whether the Palestinian or the Rohingya. The Rohingya, they live in plastic homes. Plastic home. I went to the camps. Subhanallah, I sat with them under those plastic homes. And me and the other delegation were sweating. Our shirt was like, you can have wet, you can squeeze water out of it. And then they live every day like this. There's no kitchen in their place. They cook outside, group 1.5 million. I told them, how was your Ramadan? They said, oh, complete the Quran. What they did, they built a masjid very solid. They put money together, they put the masjid in the middle, stronger than their homes. And when they come to eat, they say Eid Mubarak. They shake hands. They celebrate. You have to be resilient. But I think we should remind, especially at the end of Ramadan, we should more have a campaign for donation, intensify our dua or qunut for our brothers and sisters. Should not ever forget them.
So, inshallah, with that, we have to let your magic go. It's late. Imagine if you can make dua for us, inshallah, and dua for all of us. Special thank you for the definition of taqwa from Ali. It's very measurable.
Alhamdulillah.
Jazakallah.